She's a very, very young bitch. She's only 1 year and 4 months old. Her sire is Glenclegg Silver, which is owned by James McGee, and the dam is Nan, which is owned by Dennis Mullaney. This dog is actually the youngest sheepdog at the trials this year. James lives and works on the family farm with his wife Karen and children Rachel, Lauren and James Jr., who are all interested in the farming. Farm comprises of 500 Lanark and Lanark cross black-faced ewes. There are some purebred to Lanark rams, with the remainder bred to crossing blue-faced Leicester rams. Breeding mule lambs, which are sold through the Donegal Mule Group. There's also a handful of suckler cows, which are Belgian Blue Limousin crosses, and they produced quality weanlings for shipping. James started trialling in 2004, and he won the Irish National with Becca in 2005 and 2007. This year is the 18th time to represent Ireland. 7 times he won with Becca, 4 times with Glenclegg Silver, and 7 times with different dogs and bitches. He was the winner of the World Trial in 2011 with Becca at Lowther. He's a winner of the International Supreme Championship with Glenclegg Silver in 2014 at 17 months old, the youngest ever dog to win it. He was a winner of One Man and His Dog in 2008 with Becca, Champion of Champions Royal Welsh Show with Becca, Hebridean Circuit Lord of the Isles 4 times, Hills of Donegal champion, North of Ireland Sheepdog Society nursery winner 3 times, and he's got countless open wins. We'll just hand over to you here, Paddy, because there's much more information here on James. So let's give you a rundown on what's happening so far.
That's enough about James. He's a great fella. We all know he's one of the best. But he's getting off to a goodish start here, but the sheep aren't just as nice as he might like, I'd say.
I actually missed the start there with reading all this information on James. Oh, she's a real nice bitch.
He's put up some great runs with this bitch. I've seen him a few times this year, and you'd rather not see him at a trial you'd be going to, because he's just too dangerous.
Yeah, he put up a tremendous run at the Irish National.
Yeah, he had to really fight to get onto the team with this bitch there on the first day. The sheep were sort of, sometimes they seemed impossible, and the ones he got weren't any better. But he just scraped a run out of it. He made it work.
Yeah. It's amazing what he can bring out of a dog at such a young age.
Well, it's incredible, really, isn't it? And here we are in 2021, and the bitch isn't a year and a half old. In 2019, he was there. That was one. I think she's about 17 months old, and he ended up 3rd in the Supreme with her. It's incredible what he can do with these dogs. That I'd be calling a pup if I had it.
Yeah. Normally we'd be looking at probably running our nursery dogs, and thinking they're maturing when they get to 2 years old. But here's James here in the International, and it's just amazing what he does achieve at such an early age.
Well, James and Kevin sort of reinvented the wheel a bit with that one. Like when Kevin won the Supreme with Key too, and she was only a very young bitch.
I think between the pair of them, between James and Kevin, they've actually made us re-look at our dogs and try to think that we should be bringing more out of them from an earlier age. But I mean, you can only get out of your dogs, can't you, what they will give you. They're all so different. It must be quite a sizable bitch for her age. Do you think, Paddy?
Possibly, yeah. I can't remember, but I know Silver's a big dog. When you get in beside Silver, he's a big one. And so Silver was unfortunate not to make the team this year. I was really looking forward to seeing him, but he's been a little bit unlucky. He was unlucky in 2018. I thought the Irish International would have really suited him, and he had a bit of an accident before it and missed out, and the reserve had to run in his place.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this is a nice turn now, and his sheep are on a nice line, going at a nice pace. So this is all looking good.
There nearly looks to be a trod line going up through the drive gate that sheep are getting onto.
Well, it's starting to turn into a trot line with all the sheep that have gone up there so far this morning.
We'll probably be hoping there'll be a trod line across the cross drive because it is so hard to find a defining line to take across there.
So James just making sure to get that hurl too. And it's not a wide turn by any standard, but he was just being a bit careful to make sure he got through it.
I think they saw Mark Bannum's return through that hurdle, and now they're all playing quite safe there. Better to get a slightly wide turn than to bring them back through. Maybe the handlers here are they're getting the cross drive into two halves. Maybe they'll pick the first half and have a pointer line for the first half, and then take the second half as it comes. It's hard to judge it all from one hurdle to the other.
Well, it is for us too, because a lot of the time we're in here, we're just looking at the screen, and so you don't have the full pan of it. But we'll have a chat to some of them after.
Seems to be taking a fairly good line across here. There's been no deviation. We were just thrown into a sense of alarm there. We got a note up on the screen saying the screen was going to turn off in a few seconds, but we've corrected that now. Looks like James could get a very good turn here. Yeah, that's nice. Sheep going at a really, really good pace there. They've accepted his pitch well, haven't they, Paddy?
James not doing anything careless on the way back from the third hurl too. It's a lovely line back. Be interesting to see now. I always like watching him shed there because, well, now I don't think these will present too much of a challenge for him. But when sheep are challenging, that's when it's good to watch James McGee shed.
Yeah. Of course, the handler can't leave the post until the sheep have entered the shedding ring. And there they come into the ring there, and James walks forward to meet them. So he's just nicely trying to get his two uncollared sheep into position. He'll be an absolute master at doing this. He's had many years' experience here in the International Shedding Ring. As usual there, we've got a collared one at the front and one at the back. James is there quietly walking around them, trying to reposition them without upsetting them. It looks like he's getting to come into the front here. He'll work on these two.
I almost thought James was being a bit too respectful to the sheep there at start. You know, they're really not afraid of the man.
No, they're not.
So he's got his 3 there. He needs 1 to walk out of it. Here it is.
She reminds me very much of Silver, does this bitch. Up on her feet and good presence with sheep. So James will now bring them out of the shedding ring to the mouth of the pen. Certainly not posed any problem so far at the pen.
It's very easy to forget that this bitch is only a year and 4 months old. When I was watching him in the shed and I was thinking, oh, he's being very nice to them and all. You know, it's a very different story. He's in there with Silver, a dog that he knows inside out and outside in, and his dog knows everything. You know, I'd forgotten that this bitch is just so incredibly young.
Yeah. But very mature for its age. Both man and dog there seem to be helping the sheep into the pen, which is what the judges will be looking for.
And so you can see James just being careful not to hit it off the O's back leg.
Yes,
His attention to
yes.
detail is brilliant.
Looking at his watch there to see how much time he has left. Doesn't seem in any worry about the time, so he could possibly have quite a lot of time left here. Well, maybe just pushing a bit. Maybe he knows that he's going to be very aware he's got to get finished. He's got to get his single.
You might just notice that James entered the ring there before the sheep. It's only when you go to the shedding ring to shed that you need to wait for the first sheep to walk in before you enter the ring. When you come back for the single, typically you go to the ring and you bring your sheep, so it doesn't matter who goes in first really. But it does in the shedding, but not in the single. I'd say that James will make this happen fairly quick. He's not a fella to miss an opportunity when it presents. Sheep are a little bit nervous there now. They're a bit touchy.
They're maybe just a bit aware that something's going on. They're just clamming together a bit there. The minute they start to feel a bit of pressure, they clam together. The last thing you want is, I'm guessing, upset. James did also commentate that he said that Nan has a great get-up-and-go attitude. She's very friendly, outgoing personality with a great willingness to please. And if you have that in a dog, you've half a chance, haven't you, if they want to work with you, if they try to please you.
James is finding this a lot tougher than I thought he was going to. I'd say he's feeling a little bit of pressure here because he knows he needs to get this out. You know, if it was Silver here, there was a time when they strung out, I'd say he'd be... Here it is.
It's there.
And they've called it, so he's done. That was getting a little bit, I'd say it was getting under a bit of pressure there. Time was eating up on him a bit, so
it would
he'd be relieved.